Hey coaches, this is Coach Tall Guy. Today I'm going to be building off our first session, which was I talked about the first defender, how their job's to pressure. Next I did a video on the second defender, which their job is to provide cover and support. So today I'm going to go through the third defender. What's the role of the third defender? So the role of the third defender is to provide balance and depth, okay? This is really important for young players. Once we stop that ball, once we get cover, we gotta have that balance and depth because we don't wanna leave these major gaps in the field. So I'm gonna go through kind of a 7v7 format and we'll talk through the third defender there. And then I'll also address the 9v9 third defender as well, because I know you U9, U10 coaches, you're doing the 7v7. It's a little different. We were gonna talk about the midfielder in that situation. And then for you guys who are playing 9v9, typically you're playing with 3 in the back, sometimes 4, so it's a little easier to address the third defender. I'll also go over how to position yourselves and your players on the team when the ball's in the middle of the field and when the ball's out wide, okay? So here we go, third defender. So in this situation, we're talking about 7v7 here, all right? So we have our 2 defenders in this situation. The ball is in the middle of the field. If you can see this cone here, this is gonna pressure the ball. So this is our first defender. Right now, our second defender is here, is providing that cover and that support, all right? Notice, again, they're at an angle. They're not flat, because if they're flat and we get beat through the middle here, it's a breakaway to goal. So we wanna have that nice little angle of support. Now, in this situation, we really wanna talk about the third defender, okay? So we have our 2 defenders here, first defender, second defender, but we don't have our third defender because really we only have 2 defenders in 7v7. So we gotta talk about the midfielder becoming that third defender. So if we come over this way, you're gonna see that we have our outside midfielder over here, okay? In the situation, right now we only have first and second defender. So we've gotta provide that balance, all right, and that depth. So the third defender in this situation is going to have to track back hard and come back here and provide that balance, all right, that depth. Notice the third defender now is behind the ball, okay? That's super important. If there's anything I can stress to you guys as coaches when you're coaching defense, is getting numbers behind the ball and having pressure on the ball, all right? Defensively, the main principle is staying compact on the field, okay? So in the 7v7 game, we really wanna talk with our outside midfielders about tracking back, getting behind the ball, and stopping it, okay? They're gonna be the ones that become the third defenders because most of you guys are only playing with 2 in the back. Now, let's change the situation up a little bit, all right? So I'm gonna take this cone back, all right? This is our outside midfielder. Now let's say the ball has been played out wide. So the ball's been played out wide. We're gonna have first defender is gonna pressure the ball. Our defender here, our other defender is gonna become the second defender. They're gonna have to tuck in, come in behind, create that little angle. Now we have our cover, our support. Now what you're gonna see on the field is that we have this massive space in here. This is where we need the third defender, okay? We need that balance, we need that depth. So again, in this situation, the outside midfielder is gonna be responsible for diagonaling their run, getting back in behind the ball, and coming flat or even with the second defender. This is gonna be now our offside line. What we don't necessarily want is that third defender to come way back here, all right, because now we're not able to utilize the offside line. So again, we want that third defender to come in. Now we have that compactness that we want. We have a new offside line. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Coach Tall Guy, what about that side of the field? Well, at this age, their ability to hit a ball from one side of the field to the other is not great. They're just too young. They don't have the leg strength. Plus, even if they do have it, when they switch that point of attack, this player is going to have plenty of time to step to and become the first defender. All right. In fact, I would love to see us get in this position and almost bait the other team to try to switch the point of attack, because I feel like we're going to pick off a lot of passes because they don't have the leg strength. Okay. So again, I want to reiterate, in 7v7, those U9, U10 games, it's a little harder to get that third defender in there. So you're really addressing more of the midfielder than you are the defenders, okay? Now, let's progress to 9v9. So typically, most of your teams have 3 defenders, okay? So we have an outside right back, outside left back, and a center back, okay? So just give me a second. I'm going to move these cones. All right, thanks for bearing with me. Now, here's our shape. Let's start with the ball in the middle again, okay? So in this situation, we're going to pressure the ball. So our center back is going to step. It's going to pressure the ball, all right? Now we're going to need our outside backs to tuck in a little bit. So they're going to come here. We're going to make this nice little kind of like triangle shape defensively. Get behind the ball. Provide a little, and we got that cover. All right, now in this situation, both these players are going to be kind of taking on the role of second and third defender. It's a little confusing right now, all right? Those roles will change depending on how the first defender pressures the ball. So as an example, if the first defender hooks their run and is forcing the ball this way, this player is going to be the second defender providing cover. This one's going to become the third defender, giving that balance and depth, all right? Vice versa, if the defender forces the ball this way, this player is going to become the second defender. The outside player there is going to be the third defender. So this is how it's going to look in those 9v9 games. Now let's pretend that the ball got played out wide again. So it gets played out wide. We're going to, again, have our first defender pressure the ball. And again, coaches, I prefer in these situations to try to force the player wide. Our second defender is our center back. They're going to tuck in, provide that cover, and we want about that 45-degree angle. And then again, to reiterate, just like in the 7v7, we don't want to have these big gaps, all right? This is very common in youth soccer to leave these gaps because a player thinks, well, coach said I'm the outside defender, I'm the right back, I must stay on the right side of the field. No, we don't want that, okay? This player needs to start to tuck in. Again, staying even and flat with the second defender to hold that offside line. And now we have pressure, cover, and balance. All right, pressure, cover, balance. As they progress to 11v11, more often than not, they'll be playing with 4 defenders. So our cover would be out there. You'd have 2 defenders playing the third defender, but that's down the road. So again, you guys, to build, we did our first defender is to pressure the ball. Immediate pressure, stop penetration. Second defender provides that cover and support in case that first defender gets beat. And then our third defender is providing that balance. They're covering those open spaces on the field. We don't want to leave big gapping holes. So the common denominator here for all your teams, if they want to be a good defensive team, is you just got to get players behind the ball. We have to stop the ball, and we want to stay compact, all right? The things that you're going to really have to coach out of your kids is if 2 people go to the ball, 3 people go to the ball. That's when they get in that bunch ball, and then you're leaving big gaps all over the field because too many people are on the ball. For those younger teams, you may have to lay down some cones, make some channels so they get a good visual as to how far they come over on the field, things of that nature. For some of those older teams, it's just a matter of them just trusting in their teammates, okay? Like if I'm already pressuring the ball, I don't need the help yet, all right? I need you to be in your position, okay? So hopefully this helps you guys. First, second, and third defender, all concepts that these kids can learn. And I was excited to get out here. Hopefully you take something away from this. And I'll see you guys out on the pitch. Bye.